Hi there. Casting update for House of the Dragon. It's short, but it's kind of big. Our first Stark cast member in this prequel era. That actor David Hounslow has been cast as, it's titled on IMDb, there was an IMDb update, Lord Rickon Stark, who is the father of major character Cregan Stark. David Hounslow has been on British TV for a long time. He's done stuff like Coronation Street and Doctors. I'm not as familiar with him, but we've been covering this for a while, ever since the second teaser mentioned I, Lord Stark, swear to Rhaenyra. And there's been a bit of a debate about whether he's been renamed or not. There were leaks saying he had been renamed from Rickon to Rickard, which is the name of Ned Stark's father, because names repeat in dynasties, and maybe some people would confuse him with Stark Child number 6, Rickon, who was in Game of Thrones. Rather than stake a clear a view on this, I honestly don't know what's going on now. I'll be honest about that. Because, as I said in previous reports, well, the subtitles say he said, I, Rickard Stark, even though it sounds like Rickon. And one idea was maybe they changed it in post-production, or maybe they toyed with changing his name, but then gave up on changing and went back to the original. We're not sure, but what I said in a previous report was, when we check the copyright updates, when they copyright characters' names, like they've taken out copyrights in public databases for Corlys Velaryon, for Rhaenyra Targaryen, when they copyrighted this name, it was Rickard Stark, not Rickon. And I took that as proof. Now, IMDb has been known to make mistakes before because, it's run by people. Maybe they were misinformed. I don't know what's going on. And just standing back and going, this is definitive proof we were wrong. Copyrights are a pretty big thing, and I would trust an official copyright website wording of the name more than I would IMDb, because they've been known to make mistakes. I don't know what's going on, and it's irrelevant. He isn't that major of a character. He's important because he's the father of the main Stark character. He's not the main Stark character himself. So just season 1, we will sort that out. What is his name? It doesn't really matter. I'm more interested in, wow, they finally announced who's playing him. We were all really excited to hear Bormund Baratheon and Lord Stark in the second teaser trailer back in May, and we were writing up articles on this is who he was for for wiki things, and this is what and I made videos about this is his background with Cregan. That was all going on there, but now it just makes it real that, okay, we have a confirmed Stark cast member with a name to put to the face. It was weird that when the second teaser came out, you think when an actor has dialogue in even a teaser, that's enough that for crediting purposes they need to update IMDb for it if they have a speaking line in a trailer. I guess not, but okay, he's there now. And he isn't that big of a character, like I said, so I'm just not, we've said all we can about the name change thing. We'll see what happens. There's really only 2 Stark characters in this whole story, because the story's about the Targaryens. That other houses are important, but there's one Arryn you really need to know, Jane. There's 3 Lannisters you really need to know. There's 2 Starks you need to know. As opposed to in the other show, there were half a dozen Starks and half a dozen Lannisters you needed to know, so it's smaller. That it's because of the time jump, that during the time of young Rhaenyra, Lord Rickon is the head of the house. During the time of adult Rhaenyra, he has long since died, and his son Cregan is the lord of the house. So, also, I've said from other leaks, we don't think we're going to see adult Cregan this season, because what we heard is that Rhaenyra sends her sons on political, diplomatic missions to gather allies. The second son goes to Storm's End, and we will see that for the Baratheons. The oldest son goes north to the Starks. And what we heard is simply that they don't follow up on that at the end of the last episode, that they'll follow up on that in the season 2 premiere. They'll show him going to Winterfell. which is what I would do. Given the long production turnaround time, we're not going to be seeing season 2 until 2024, just because they haven't started filming yet. Yeah, why bother casting Cregan for season 1 if he's going to barely appear for a cameo? It's better to cast him for season 2. That's fine. So I kind of hope that when we see his father, Lord Rickon, before the time skip, we might get a cameo by young Cregan, played by a small, younger teenager. If that happens, it's such a small cameo that we haven't heard any casting rumors about young Cregan. I've said that there's one or two wish list things of maybe it's the young Ned actor, Sebastian Croft, but that would be a cameo at best, and I'm just going to be surprised with the rest of you when it happens. I don't think Cregan is in season 1 because of the time skip, but his father would be just to establish who that is, and then like season 2 might have a flashback episode giving the story of young Cregan as he rebels against his uncle. His uncle usurped him, so he had to rebel against him, and he has this interesting background for like, not like a giant subplot, but like for 20 minutes showing it in flashback. There's 2 Starks I said you need to know. That it's the 2 children of Lord Rickon are the only real Stark characters in the story of the Dance of the Dragons. The first one, really 90%, the primary one, is Rickon's son who succeeds him as Lord of Winterfell, Cregan Stark. There's also, if you're unfamiliar with this, there's this rumor in the story that Cregan has a bastard half-sister, that Rickon had a bastard daughter named Sarah Snow. And the official historians never mention her. But the historian who's writing Fire and Blood, the in-universe guy Gildane, says the fact that they didn't mention her doesn't mean she didn't exist, because they rarely mention bastards anyway. So that's a thing, that they wouldn't have mentioned her even if she was real. But he says that the salacious court jester Mushroom said that when Rhaenyra's eldest son, Jake, went to Winterfell to secure an alliance with her, he had this torrid love affair with Cregan's bastard sister, Sarah Snow, and they made love in front of the Heart Tree and were married in the right of the old gods in the Winterfell Godswood, that he secretly married her and left her pregnant with his heir behind, and left her dragon eggs. And the Starks kept it a secret that they had a secret Targaryen heir with a dragon egg that they never told anyone about, which is preposterous. But on the other hand, even Gildane, writing Fire and Blood, said it's possible Jake had an affair with her, but it's this whole... He was like Robb Stark. He was this honorable guy. Robb Stark wouldn't have a sudden affair with a woman out of marriage, and yeah. So... point is, there's really only 2 Starks you need to know in the story, the ongoing story, which are the 2 children of Lord Rickon, Cregan and maybe Sarah Snow, but they're not going to be in season 1. Maybe a cameo. Still, this is big news, because this is the first character named Stark. It is the Lord Stark before the time skip. And before, we just heard about him as someone going, I swear this, in a teaser without even a name to put to the face. He wasn't on camera when he said that, so we couldn't even search the image to find out what actor it is. We have an actor name to put to the role. David Hounslow is Lord Rickon Stark. It might not even be that big of a role for all I know, but he does seem like an experienced actor, so I think he'll have a few speaking lines or something. But remember how excited we were when they announced the small council characters, one of which was Tywin Lannister, who is the main Lannister character of this prequel era, that and his sister-in-law. But when we were, wow, first Lannisters cast for this prequel era, this is the first named actor casting for a Stark in this prequel era, so that's pretty cool.